Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. I've got some Easter bunnies to show you today. Excuse me. Like I said last week, Easter is March 31st, and so we don't have to wait another month to start decorating for Easter. We need to start now because we only have a month. And a long time ago, well, a few years ago, when my kids were younger, I used to make a bunny rabbit. I used to sew it. It was, I believe, a McCall's pattern, and it was a stuffed bunny, and it was a big bunny, and you stuff it, and you put on a pretty dress, make the dress with whatever lace or fabric you wanted, and then you embroidered the face. Well, I used to make those, and I would sell them at the local craft shop, and I always never could make enough. And I put flowers in their ears and like that, and I got thinking about it the other day. I thought, I really miss those bunnies, but I do not want to get the whole sewing thing going again, and all that material and everything, and it was kind of a mess. So I thought, I wonder if I could make a big bunny and make her real pretty like my other ones were, and put a dress on her, but make her out of paper and chipboard. So that's what I've been working on, and I kind of got carried away, but you know how bunnies are. Once you start having one, they just keep multiplying. And apparently these bunnies have been busy multiplying while I was just thinking about them. They're just popping up all over the place in my workroom. So here they are, and I want to show them to you. I started out with a small size, and this one, I also did several different colors because, well, not several, but a few different colors because I thought variety is the spice of life. And I'm going to take them apart. I'm going to set them down and do my camera a little differently and show them to you a little bit better than this. But there they go. Yeah, I can't really show you this way. So I'm going to do that and fix my camera. But this is big. I just want you to see how big. And I made a stand for it. And I'm going to show you how to put them together so you can make your own, because they are so much fun and easy. Even a little girl could make them. You could have a granddaughter over or a little young daughter, a child, and they could make their own, and they could put their own designs on them. So hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, let me show you the first one that I did. And this is in a collection, a new collection in my Etsy shop. All of these bunnies are in there, and they will come all ready for you on an 8.5 by 11. This is what she looks like without the lace that I put on her. And I'm going to show you I'm going to tell you how to cut her apart and how to put her on chipboard if you've never done that before. And you can do it with scissors. So, but see, I just took, this is that tool that the dollar store has with these white blotches on them. But I thought it looked kind of cool. And you can see underneath is her dress. And then I just put some lace here. I gathered up some of this tulle, and I stitched it and glued it onto the back. And then for her dress up here, her bodice, I did make a separate piece. I cut this out and I glued to the shoulders here. Notice I did not cut out the neck, just the blouse. And I glued it to her shoulders, and then I put her paws were attached, so her paws come out over her dress. And then there is a basket that can be cut out, and she can hang on to that, which I didn't get to that part for her. I forgot about the basket. Anyways, I was doing so many of them. And then I did cut out her head again, and this comes in the collection in these parts for you, so you know what to cut out and what to pop. And I used the double-sided foam tape. I cut out her hat, and as you can see, I added some real lace trim to the second hat here, and then I put my own flower and some greenery leaves here and popped it on her head. And I did double-sided fabric, no, not fabric, double-sided foam tape that I get at the dollar store. And this is the silver glass shards and it is just really beautiful. And I thought, well, you know, cutting out a whole little thing for her blouse was going to get involved, so I decided to leave the blouse as it was and just add the silver to the trim, and think that turned out fine. And I forgot to measure. I'll measure them when I get my mat out. We will measure them. I know this is an 8.5 by 11, and so she's probably 10 inches tall and quite wide at the bottom, just her skirt. But anyways, they're all going to be like that. They're all going to be on an 8.5 by 11 with their extra parts. Now this guy, he's a real cutie. We had to have a Peter Rabbit, I thought, you know. And I popped out his bow, I popped out his head, and here again I put the silver glass shards. There's a chain there, and I wanted to emphasize it, so I put the silver shards on there. I think it looks good. And then I popped out the basket, and his arm, and this arm, and the tulip that's on his face. And I'm also going to show you what I did to the edges to make them look good. And then I made this in the back, and I'm going to show you how to make that. It's not difficult at all. And he comes one page with the complete rabbit, and then these separate parts are also on that same page because he's skinny, so it fit all on one page. And then we had to have some vintage, you know, traditional rabbits, and this I consider Peter Rabbit and his wife. And they are together. They are not separate. They are one piece. But they're paper. They come on one sheet of 8.5 by 11 page, and then they have a separate page that you can cut out the basket and this egg. And I've done a few different eggs, so you have a choice. And then the heads are, you know, popped out. And his arm and her whole area here with his one arm and the egg are together, so you can pop them out. And then I did the sides and the back. So, and then I thought, well, we need kind of a young bunny too for the young girls. They like to dress up their bunnies. So I made this little girl, and she's not quite 11 inches tall, probably 10 inches tall. And she has a little baby in her basket, maybe it's her little brother, who knows. And I just put a lace, her dress looks like this underneath. And so I just put, this was a baby's, I want to say skirt on a dress that had tiered ruffles, like 4 layers of ruffles. And all I did was cut it off the skirt, and then I glued it onto her, and she looked fine. So over here, and then I did a little sari silk here, and then I added some fabric trim and a jewel, a gem, and then I popped out this rabbit and her arm, and then I also popped the basket again so that the eggs could be away from the baby and you could see some depth there. And then I just added the flower up here and some eyelash trim. And I put a stand on her as well. And then the last big one is this little cutie girl here. And she is a black bunny, and we have brown ones and black and white ones. I wanted to do all colors. I don't want to leave no bunnies out because they're the cutest bunnies ever. And what I did with her is I also put some lace on her hat. And this is a second layer, the hat. So I got to play with that. And I gave her another egg, which is included in her collection. Well, in the collection, there is a page of extras, so you can pick and choose what you want. When you cut her out, she does not have anything in her hands. It's up to you what you want to put on her. I can't, maybe I can. I can't show you her little dress, just some of the ruffles, because I kind of glued it. When I glued on the appliques, they stuck to her underneath. But here I put some lace here. I put a row of that cotton lace, and then I put this lace that I gathered I added a bow and then all of this at the top. And then we got glue sticks, glue strands. I gave her a stand as well. And I wanted to do small ones too. And so I did this little brown and white bunny. I thought she was real cute. And I just kind of went a little overboard and put some beads on her and a lot of flowers. And I just wanted to doll her up because she's a little... And she doesn't come with any clothes printed on her. She is just... Let me see. I think I brought it over here. I hope I did. Yeah. She is just plain like that. And this is her. Ah, this lace. And you cut her out and dress her up yourself. Now I did the same thing with this bunny, the black bunny. Okay, she's not dressed either, same bunny. And you can just put anything on her you want. And I kind of went overboard with her too. And I love this up here. So I had some flower that I thought matched pretty good. And I put that up there. And these roses and beads. I have a lot of wedding appliques, so I put these on there. Now this one I didn't cut her out to show you, but she as well does not come with any dress on. She's plain. This one does not stand up well. I will tell you that. I cut her feet to be straight. I put the, these all have the, I had to mess around with that. These all have the stand on the back, and they work pretty good. But this one, no matter what I did, you can see I took it off 100 times. I could not get her to stand. I hope you can. There's no reason why she isn't standing. The rest of them stand, so I don't get it. But there's always one bunny in the bunch. You know that, don't you? That's what they say. Every bunny is a bunny. Anyways, so there's always one troublemaker, and she's it. But I just put on some roses and ribbons and lace and applique. And I had fun with these bunnies. As you can tell, I made a lot of them. I could have made a lot more of them, but I have to stop or I'll never... Easter will come and go, and I'll be gone. It'll be gone. So this is the page of extras that you're going to get. And I did cut out a couple things there. I've given you some chocolate bunnies, a small and large, a couple of baskets, 3 or 4 baskets, some eggs, and a little extra bunny. And look at this. I love this thing. This little diorama with a bunny in it. Cute. And I love this egg with the flowers. So I have them, and this is the house that the other bunny is holding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear off my table, and I'm going to come back with my mat board up, and I'm going to take you step by step how to put a bunny together. I'm only going to show you one because they're all done the same way. And then you'll know too. And I hope you will go over to my store and buy the collection because you can have so much fun and you can do a lot of decorating for Easter. And you've got time. You've got time. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to cut out your rabbit and cut out all the parts that go with it and keep it somewhere close. Now for the baskets, I cut this with a craft knife, and it's a lot easier to go inside that way and not get messed up if you use a craft knife. Okay, and what else you'll need is you'll need some chipboard. Now this is called 30 point. There's 30 and there's 50. There's probably even more than that, maybe 100, I don't know. But this is what I always used on my Cricut machine. And the 50 is even thicker. But I can't cut the 50 with scissors. I can on my Cricut machine, but I'm not cutting this on my Cricut machine. I'm cutting this with scissors. So what I do is I cut 2 layers. Top, two layers. And I glue them together. And then I have a 60 point. Because this is 30 point and you got 2 of them. You got 60 point. And it's very durable. Very, very strong. So the first thing you do after you've cut it out, you take the whole rabbit, and you want to trace around the rabbit onto your chipboard. And then you put a big X on that one because that's your front, that's your top, and you don't want to mix it up. Now I'm going to give you some pointers. on cutting this, and then we'll get to putting it together. So when we're cutting with chipboard, I have some paper scissors, and that's what I use. They're specifically for this. I like to cut away as much of the chipboard as I can before I start getting in there and cutting the details. It's kind of like walking through 10 feet of snow versus a couple inches of snow. If you cut away most of this, it's not going to be as hard to get to the detailed parts than if you leave it all on and it gets in your way and so on. Now for the bottom, you can cut that straight if you want. I didn't. I cut mine with all the scallops. But you can cut it straight if you're going to cover it. And for the hat, I did cut the hat straight. And I even cut the pieces on here straight because I knew I was going to put lace there. So that's up to you. And I cut off a lot of the leaves sticking out because I knew I was going to cover them up. So whatever you think you don't need on your rabbit, just cut it off, okay? So let's go up here. Now you want to cut on the inside of the line. You don't want to cut right on the line. And I think I already did that, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to trim it because this has got to go underneath your rabbit and you don't want it to be seen. So cut right next to the line here, not on the line and not outside the line for sure. And when you get to a place like this, come to it from here and then find the next place. You want to go inside the line, and then you could take your craft knife and just go right in here, make one little cut there, and then that's done. You want to trim that off if you get some stuck. I have a tendency to pull instead of cut. And then you keep going on inside the line. And see, I don't have all that extra chipboard to deal with, so it's a lot easier to go around the curves. And this is a nice wide design. Some of them aren't. Some of them are a little more confusing, but are a little more detailed, I should say, not confusing. Anyways, so I'm just going to keep going, but I'm going to cut some of this off. And I'm inside the line, and now I'm coming to a peak. So I'm going to go right in and I'm going to cut that off. I don't want to deal with that. And I might even put a little cut there so that I can cut this piece off. And I have more room to get my scissors in there and go down to this point here. And then I'm going to come in like that. You could be a little rough with it. It's chipboard. It's not going to break. Inside the line, remember? Inside the line. The only reason I'm doing the whole thing is because we're going to glue them. I have another one cut out already. And we're going to glue them together. Then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. We're actually going to do another piece for the back, which is cardstock, because you want to cover up the back. Okay, so that one's done. And I have a second one all ready to go. And this one goes underneath. And I want to line them up as best I can. And if I have some overlay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them together. Then I'm going to come back with my craft knife and I'm going to trim it down. So I'm just going to take some glue. I'm going to do the edges, not right out to the very edge, but close, because I want the layers to stick together. So I'm just going to glue these together real fast. It is kind of a quick project. I mean, the biggest thing is cutting it and then decorating it. That's the fun part. get all your lace out and your beads and flowers and whatever you want to put on there and have fun. Okay, so those are together, and I see I've got a lot of extra underneath, so I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to trim it out with my craft knife. Wherever it needs it. Sometimes it needs it a lot, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on if you were talking to somebody while you were cutting, like I'm talking to you. So then I don't cut as accurately. So I'm going to cut this all off. I really love working with a craft knife because it gives you a nice clean cut. Not like the scissors that go chompity-chomping there. So I'm going to leave that right now, and I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to line it up. This is what you're going to do. And I'm not going to glue it. I'm just going to line it up. And if you want to make any adjustments, now is the time to do it. Because what we're going to do it before we put this on, you are not going to want to make any adjustments afterwards. So here I see an adjustment that I need to make. So I'm going to come in with my craft knife and I'm going to cut that right off, both layers. So that's nice and not showing. You have to finagle it because you've got 60 now here. Pretty much is pretty good, but there's a big place there. So now you're not gluing this yet, okay? You're just putting it on there to make adjustments and make sure everything is good before you do the final touches. Okay, so I'm not going to do the final touches, so I'm going to leave that and show you what I do next. Is I do the backing, which is cardstock, and I'm just going to trim around it or trace around it like I did with the bunny. It's all printed out. I'm not going to cut this out, but I'm just going to tell you, you trace around it and then you cut it out and you put it aside. Oh, I blew that anyways. It was out of... Anyways, you get the idea. Trace it around on your cardstock. Cut it out. Put this aside because the next thing you're going to do is you're going to seal the edges and make it look decorative. And this is what I like to do. Let me see if I can show you. You see the edges there? There's not... are like copper, gold, so that you don't see cardboard. You know, you don't see chipboard. Let's see, where are my other... Oh, I put them all away. Okay, so how you do that is now that my edges are glued and they're supposedly all trimmed to where they should be. I bought this metallic ink at Hobby Lobby just a couple weeks ago. It's Speedball and metallic silver. It was $3.49 for that. And this is metallic gilding polish that I bought, I don't know where, I think on Amazon. And so I used that on her here, but I also use this on some of them. So you can use either one, and if you have a different one that you like, any color that you like, that you have, you can use. Okay. And what I do is I take a pom-pom, small pom-pom, and an alligator clip, and that is my, so to speak, brush, and then I just dip it into the polish. Yeah, okay, let's see. How am I going to get this so you can see? And I just rub it on. It goes on very easily. And if you get it on the front and the back, doesn't matter because nobody's going to see it. It's going to be covered up with your bunny and in the front and your backing paper in the back. So it's all covered. Okay. And I actually use my finger most of the time. It goes a lot faster. I did not use my finger when I put the silver on. I did use the pom-pom because it's too thin and it's watery. It needs to absorb something. Anyways, so you do the whole thing with your polish or your ink, whatever you want to do. And that's why you have to have it all trimmed up nicely, because this, after you do this, if you start cutting off the trim, you know, if you start trimming, you're going to go back to the chipboard, and then you're going to have to do this again. And or if you've already put your the graphic, the picture of the bunny on, it's too late. And this is kind of hard stuff to deal with in a small type area. Okay. Okay, so once you're done with that, you put that aside and let it dry. And when it's completely dry, then you put your backing on and your front on. You just glue them on, and then you decorate. Now, my camera's running out of time, so I'm going to have to show you how to do this quickly. To make the back, now see, we've got the backing on. We put the front on, and all of our sides are nicely finished. So I do about a 2-inch strip of the 30-inch chipboard, and about 7, it depends on how tall, but about 7 inches for her. And then I take my score pad, and for 3/4 of an inch I score at the top of this, and I fold it in half, and then I put it up to her, and I notice that it's too long here, so I will just cut that off real quickly. I'm going to use this one to show you. And then I cut the paper, matching paper of the backing. Like this backing is this color. So I will make this color, but I'm not going to take the time because I'm running out of time. Stupid camera. And you just score it there, and then you hold it up until it's the bottom. I don't know how to show you holding it up. And you take hot glue and you glue the top there and push it down. Then you take a ribbon, as this is. Let's see how much time I got. I can't see the darn clock. 4 minutes. You take the ribbon and you glue one end here and then one end over there somewhere. Wherever. It doesn't matter. It'll stand up. It can be on the edge if you want, but if you pull it out, you can tell about how wide it's going to stand. If you want it in to stand narrower, you put it up further. Okay? So anyways, that's it for me today, and I'm running out of time, and I thank you for stopping by. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I hope you will make some bunnies for Easter and have some fun with it. And all the bunnies will be in one place at my Etsy shop, which the link is below. All right, and I'll see you in the next video.